What if a game from your childhood could still surprise you, not just with nostalgia, but with levels you have never even played before? Get ready to light the fuse, because the Super Bomberman Collection just landed, bringing some long-lost treasures to the global stage. For decades, Bomberman has been a constant, a reliable source of explosive fun on a grid. We have seen countless iterations, but the core formula always holds up, much like a timeless puzzle you just keep wanting to solve. Now, Konami gives us something truly special, the Super Bomberman Collection. This is not just another re-release, it is a meticulously curated platter of classic titles, showcasing exactly why this franchise remains a staple in our gaming history. The biggest news here, the real draw for longtime fans, has to be the inclusion of Super Bomberman 4 and 5. For the very first time, these two entries blast their way out of Japan, finally allowing us to experience a piece of Bomberman history we could only admire from afar. Imagine discovering new levels, new characters, and new challenges in a game you thought you knew inside and out. Across the collection, each Super Bomberman game offers its own story mode, which you can tackle solo or bring a friend along for some co-op chaos. Of course, what is Bomberman without those iconic battle modes? You can still challenge your friends, vying for explosive supremacy. Plus, for those who love a good challenge, each game also offers a boss rush mode with adjustable difficulties, inviting you to replay those epic showdowns under pressure. But this collection does not just stop at the super titles. They have also taken us right back to the roots of the franchise, including the original Bomberman and Bomberman 2. While these early games might lack the cooperative play or battle mode of their super successors, they certainly provide a fascinating look at where they all began, reminding us how robust that core gameplay was, even in its earliest forms. Speaking of that core gameplay, it is truly remarkable how little the fundamentals have changed over the years. We are talking about moving on a grid, strategically placing bombs to clear obstacles and defeat enemies, all while grabbing those satisfying upgrades. You know the drill: more bombs, faster movement, longer blast radius. And, of course, the beloved rideable mounts, your trusty lowies, which add another layer of strategy to the explosive action. Each newer edition added more power-ups. Sure, and the graphics got prettier, but that underlying bomb, blast, collect loop has remained a constant since day one. While the core loop remained consistent, some games did push the envelope more than others. Super Bomberman 4, for example, really stands out as the entry gives us the largest variation in gameplay mechanics, not just from other titles, but even between its own stages. Bosses also offer significant jumps in challenge across the games. They do not just move around, they employ unique tactics, forcing you to think strategically about your bomb placement. Forcing you now, when you revisit these classics, you might expect some old-school frustrations. But thankfully, the developers have injected some modern quality-of-life features that make the experience much more accessible. We are talking about a very gracious rewind feature that you can use as much as you want, completely penalty-free. And each game also boasts its own independent save and load feature. These additions make tackling those trickier sections far less punishing and much more time-friendly, allowing you to enjoy the nostalgia without throwing your controller across the room. The presentation of the Super Bomberman Collection is really top-notch. From the moment you hit the main menu, bright visuals and upbeat music blast you with energy. The games themselves run smoothly and look fantastic, and the developers have even included a variety of visual settings. You can switch aspect ratios or even apply a crit filter, which definitely dials up the nostalgia for those of us who remember playing these on 2B. But here is a truly cool touch: you can unbox the original regional game boxes. We are not just talking about images, these are complete 3D recreations of the box, the cartridge inside, and even the instruction manual. You can rotate them, zoom in to see all the little details and regional variations. It is a fantastic love letter to the physical media of the past. However, not everything is perfectly polished. I did encounter a minor frustration with the lowy writable mounts, particularly in Super Bomberman 3 through 5. Sometimes when writing a lowy, it felt finicky to perfectly position yourself behind cover. Bomberman himself would fit fine, but the lowy seemed to enlarge the hitbox just enough that if you were not perfectly aligned, an explosion would catch you. It is a small annoyance, but it can lead to some unfair hits. A more significant hurdle, especially for the newly localized Super Bomberman 4 and 5, is the lack of translation for certain in-game elements. While the basic gameplay mechanics are universally understood, you lose a lot of context for plots or more in-depth mechanics. This really impacted my experience with Super Bomberman 5. The level select system felt completely opaque without any in-game explanation or translation. I found myself staring at a bad ending screen, only 24 complete, with absolutely no idea how we got there or what I should have done differently to achieve a better outcome. It felt like playing half a game. This oversight highlights a general lack of settings, especially in the main menu. While the individual games offer plenty of visual and control adjustments, the main menu itself is quite sparse, completely lacking any audio settings. For example, these are minor gripes in the grand scheme of things, but they do chip away slightly at the overall experience. Ultimately, the Super Bomberman collection stands as a truly well-packaged love letter for longtime fans. It delivers plenty of that well-aged, explosive gameplay we all remember, and it also creates a wonderfully welcoming entry point for beginners. Despite those minor inconveniences and accessibility misses, this collection offers a deep dive into the history of one of gaming's most enduring franchises. So, if you are craving some classic bomb-dropping action, this collection has your name written all over it. Have you picked it up yet? We would love to hear your thoughts on these classic blasts from the past.